I'm Professor Marty. Let's work through the headings and lists assignment together. I'll be using Visual Studio Code, or VS Code for short. Click the Open Folder button on the Welcome screen. Select the folder where you've placed the headings and text.txt starting file. Let's get coding this web page. Close the chat pane because we don't need stinking AI to code some simple HTML. If you see the little restrictive mode button down in the corner, you'll have to deal with that. Restrictive mode won't let you use live preview to see how your web page will display in a browser as you code. So we'll click on that button and choose Trust this folder. Let's take a look at the text file and see what we got. Looks like a lot of text. We'll take the first line for now. I'm going to click the line number and copy, which is Command-C or Control-C on Windows. Then, let's start a new file. I'll click on the New File button at the top of the Explorer and type heddingsandlists.html. All right. We'll declare the document by typing an opening angle bracket and exclamation mark, and VS Code helpfully autofills the doctype HTML tag. Next, let's add our name in a comment. An HTML comment starts with an opening angle bracket, exclamation point, then 2 dashes. So I'll put my name, Professor Marty. The next tag is HTML. This is where all our HTML code will go. The first thing we need is a head section. Start with a meta tag to specify the UTF-8 character set. Next is the title tag. I've already copied that from the text file, so you can press Command-V or Control-V on Windows to paste it. Notice that it puts the closing tag on the next line. That's because when I copied this, I didn't copy just those 4 words. I copied the entire line. So it also got the line break at the end. I'll use the forward delete key. On the Mac, if you don't have an extended keyboard, you can press Function Delete. Forward delete does the opposite of the regular delete or backspace key. And by opposite, I mean it deletes in the opposite direction, not that it undeletes things. What comes after the head? That's right, it's the body section. Let's go back to our text file and copy everything else. I'm just swiping through the line numbers to make this selection. Then we'll put that into the body. To prettify the code, I'll press Command-S or Control-S on Windows to save. We don't actually need the Explorer anymore, so click the button to hide that pane. So let's see what the preview of this web page is. Obviously, we haven't done much work, so we shouldn't expect anything to look really fantastic. Let's start coding some of the elements we need to take care of. So we'll start with the headings. The first one is the H1. Click on the line number to select the whole line and use the Wrap keyboard shortcut. If you don't have Wrap set up, press Shift-Command-P or Shift-Control-P on Windows. That brings up the All Commands bar. Then type Wrap. We're looking for Emmet, Wrap with abbreviation. I set this up previously, but if I wanted to change the shortcut, I could click on the gear icon and then double-click on the key binding to change it. All right, let's get out of that. And so I'll do Option W to wrap, and then I'll type the tag I want, H1. And now there are a few other headings. So let's see, we have an HTML introduction. I'll click on that line. Then I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option key and select the other 2 items, Basic HTML Elements and Web Browser. Now that they're all selected, press Alt or Option W for wrap, type H2, and press Enter. There we go. It's already looking pretty good, but we can make it look even better. First, let's set up this block quote. Select and wrap the text under the H1 and assign it to block quote. It just indents the text, it doesn't put quote marks around it because in a longer set of text, that's usually how you specify something as a quote. But for short quotes, that's really not enough visual information to go on. So what we'll do is put opening and closing quote marks around this quote. We can do this in a couple of ways. The manual way is to type the HTML entity for those characters, which is ampersand LDQUO semicolon for the opening mark and ampersand RDQUO semicolon for the closing quote. That's really hard to say, but that's a lot of work, and I prefer things to be easy. So let's select the text inside the block quote. Notice I'm not selecting the block quote itself, so I can't do my little trick of clicking on the line number to get the whole line, because we want the quote nested inside the block quote. So I'll wrap that in a Q tag to get those quote marks for free. The Q is an inline tag. Inline tags are meant to be inside larger block level tag, not the other way around. Next, we have two different kinds of lists. One is an unordered list, and the other is a description list. We'll start with the easy one, the unordered list. Select all the lines under the first H2 and wrap them in an unordered list, UL. And that doesn't do anything other than say, okay, these are part of a list. Now we have to show which ones are individual list items, LI. So we need to wrap each line in an LI. We'll use the multiple cursors technique to make this quick and easy. Click the first line number, then hold down Alt-Option and click on each line separately. That gives us 4 different cursors. Then we can do our wrap command and type LI to wrap all 4 at once, which is pretty cool. Unordered lists have 2 elements, the UL for the entire list and the LI for each list item. You'll get very familiar with unordered lists because they're used for things other than showing bullets on the screen. They're a handy structural element that we can use for things like navigation, but we'll get more into that later. Right now, let's create our description list. I'll highlight all of the lines in that list. Then we'll wrap that in a DL. Now we need to select all the terms using the same multiple cursor technique, then wrap that in a DT. Each term is on a single line, so we can Alt-Option click to quickly select them. Now let's select the descriptions. So nice, they named it twice. You can't use the click on the line number trick because look at this one. It's on 2 lines. So you'll have to drag through it, which is fine. It's only 1. Wrap those in a DD to indicate they are descriptions for the term. So that gives us some nice formatting. But you know what? I skipped a couple steps. Under web development, we need to separate that from the rest of the content. Right now, it doesn't really look separated. We'll insert a thematic break, HR, also known as a horizontal rule, to separate the H1 section from the H2 sections. And the only other thing to take care of in the body of the HTML is some naked text. We're not really comfortable with naked text in HTML, so we're going to wrap that in a P tag. Now there is one more thing to take care of, but I'm going to let you do it on your own, and I want to see if you remember where this will go. We need to declare the language in this HTML document as in English. So figure out where that should go and impress me with your knowledge. If you need to, you can refer to the last module. Other than that, you're done.